entitled "SIL Wants Custody of My Baby." I am not the original poster. That is you, Angel698. She posted in R, entitled "People. Trigger warning. Miscarriage. Possibly psychosis of sorts. Less than. Mood spoiler. Sad, but hopefully people can get help. Less than. Original post. September 5th, 2023. Background. Me. 36F. SIL. 40F. I've been married to her brother for over 10 years and there's always been some jealousy and resentment from her. She's always felt like I had the life she wanted. Not necessarily with her brother, but the marriage, family, job stability, etc. I have 3 kids, 10F, 8 meters, 3 months female. She got married last year and they decided to start trying for a baby. But she was unfortunately told that she can't have children naturally. She was understandably devastated and the family comforted her as best as we could. We recently had a family dinner and in the middle of it she says, "Angel698, I think it's really unfair that you got to have 3 kids and I can't have any. Your baby is my last chance to raise a child, so I think you should give her to me during the week. So I can create a motherly bond with her and you can have her on weekends." Before I could respond, the entire table erupted with everyone talking at once, so I took my older kids upstairs. When I got back to the dining room, her husband was asking what the hell is wrong with her and why would she even think to ask that. She was trying to justify herself when I asked them to leave. I also said that she's no longer welcomed at my house or around my children until she gets help. She started screaming that I don't deserve my life or my children and that I stole her baby from her. Her husband and Mill kept apologizing and dragged her out of the house, still crying and screaming. Now my kids want to know why their aunt wants to take the baby. Edit. I've been reading the comments but it's too many to reply to, so here are a few points. 1. We have a security system and cameras already installed and no one has keys to our house. 2. I will not be able to get a restraining order as this one incident isn't enough to justify it. 3. My husband and I spoke to the older kids about it the same night and we'll be having another talk with them to reinforce that SIL is not a safe person anymore. 4. Our country does not have the right to bear arms and I also have no interest in getting a gun. 5. I'll be informing the school and daycare of the issue and giving them her photo. For those questioning the validity of the post, I completely understand. If I had heard about this last week I wouldn't believe it either. But it's unfortunately the situation I'm currently dealing with. Relevant comments. More on security. We already have a security system and cameras because there's been a trend of house break-ins in our area lately. No one has the code or keys to our house. Not even the in-laws, so we're safe on that front. Unfortunately, a restraining order won't happen because it will take a lot more than this to justify requesting one. We've never relied on her for childcare or pickups, so she's essentially a stranger to the daycare and school. Diagnosed as infertile after a year is pretty early. Is she sure she is? She was having issues not related to trying to conceive and the fertility issues were discovered in the course of trying to sort out those other issues. Her tubes are blocked and although IVF may be an option, they're not in a position to do that now or in the near future. Was her husband aware she was going to try that? He wasn't. He actually called the next day to apologize again. He said he knew she was having a hard time accepting the infertility and they were looking into counseling for it. Your quote from her is not how real people talk. It's not verbatim. There were pauses in between and responses. So after she said the first sentence I looked at her like WTF, then looked at my husband and he asked her what she's talking about. She ignored him and continued speaking directly to me. I didn't want to detail every aspect of the conversation. Update post. September 17, 2023. 12 days later. Link to previous post above. TLDR sister-in-law found out she can't have kids and demanded that I give her my baby every week. So my sister-in-law has been admitted to a psychiatric facility. In the comments of my previous post I mentioned that her husband was seeking out counseling for them to deal with the infertility prior to this incident. After the incident he sought out a psychiatrist rather than a counselor and they had their first session last week. I didn't get the specifics of what happened, but basically she made some statements that the psychiatrist felt indicated she was a danger to others, my baby and me, and she was placed under an involuntary hold. My Bill has been nothing but apologetic through this entire ordeal and he kept her away from us. Since the incident, Mill was staying with them to keep an eye on SIL. She tried to leave the house in the middle of the night to see her baby. Also, Bill found her researching how to induce lactation and she said it was to make sure she can feed the baby properly when I come to my senses and give her up. From what Bill has said, seeing me breastfeed is apparently what triggered the entire episode. It was the first time SIL was around the baby for any length of time and she was holding her when she got fussy because she was hungry. Naturally I took her to feed her and this made SIL feel inadequate because it triggered the thought that she would never be able to do that, which led to the events of the last post. I'm grateful for all the advice that was offered on my last post as some of it was really helpful. We won't be moving as it's not feasible for us at the moment, but we have taken extra steps with security both at home and at the kids' school, daycare. This whole thing is taking a toll on the family, but Phil and Bill are taking care of SIL and my husband and I are focused on ensuring the safety of our immediate family and minimizing the effect on the kids as much as we can. Relevant comments. Therapy for the kids. My kids were able to have 2 sessions with the guidance counselor at school. One with both of them and then individual sessions, and my husband and I are looking into a therapist to have a few family sessions as well. I don't want my kids to be fearful and unable to enjoy their childhood because of this. It's good to see the family and everyone taking SIL seriously and all. But it's still unfortunate and quite scary that this has happened. SIL clearly has reached her breaking point, especially with what she has been through, and it's going to be a very long journey for recovery if there is a chance. It's a good thing that the situation has been taken care of, cause if it wasn't, things could have been really bad. I wish her children and the family the best and things remain safe for all. At least the Bill and husband are on OP's side on this. BORU being BORU. It could have turned out the other way, where the entire family expected OP to give up her baby and gaslight her into it. I'm sure this is all horrifying for OP, but I'm glad that the SIL's husband and the rest of the family are actually taking this seriously and not trying to minimize the behavior. I hope the SIL gets the help that she needs and OOP's family stays safe. My brother and his wife were trying for a second child for a few years with no success. My wife and I had our second before they did. They told it was mean and unfair for us to have another child when they had been trying for so long. I told them that we weren't planning our life around theirs and they were very offended. People are weird. Blocked tubes are often caused by endometriosis. If she was having extreme endo pains, then yes, she absolutely could have found out her tubes were blocked through her diagnosis. So to all the women out there, do not buy the BS that periods are supposed to be so painful that you are bedridden. And don't trust doctors who say it's just normal period pains. As for IVF, you don't need tubes for IVF. But it's extremely expensive and often you would need more than one round, so most clinics in my area sell tries in bundles of 3. At least the whole family is with her. Situation is sad all around. You can't just go to a judge and demand a restraining order? I'm sold. This story has the ring of truth. Things have gotten bad when you're not just thinking something bad. Attack Oop? Steal baby? But willing to disclose it to a psychiatrist. 2. That judgment, more than just the thoughts, are scary. Of course I should do kidnapping. Who wouldn't see it my way? It's obvious and right. That leads quite easily to doing the kidnapping. A woman I knew couldn't have children and became a nanny instead. She was nice but tended to overstep boundaries. I had a surprise pregnancy and she did not handle it well at all. She started to leave garbage bags full of used baby items outside my door as presents, would make inappropriate comments about my bump, would press me for personal info about my doctor's appointments, who was going to be at the birth, what my schedule was, and then after he was born would make jokes about wanting to steal my baby. She'd also always try and reach in the stroller or carrier to touch him, to the point where I'd slap her hands away. TBH, it was a horrible situation to be in. Oof. I feel bad for SIL because that can't be a fun mental state to be living with, but I'm happy for Oop that everyone rallied very quickly to keep her and baby safe. It's really sad all around. Oop is terrified for the safety of her kids, and SIL is dealing with a lot. I'm really glad everyone in the family are supportive and reasonable and made sure she gets the help she needs. She made some statements that the psychiatrist felt indicated she was a danger to others, my baby and me, and she was placed under an involuntary hold. Unable to not act dangerously insane in front of a psychiatrist for a few minutes is pretty deep into disordered thinking. Where's the update on the lady whose sister breastfed her kid, then demanded she be given her kid? Appreciated that Oop had to clarify that she did not have the right to bear arms in her country. I'd have liked to have seen what backup weapons concerned Redditors suggested. This is the most reasonable family in BORU. They knew right away what was right and wrong. Kept the SIL away from Oop, and they're trying to get her the help she need. I half expected to see Mill jump in to support SIL and call Oop selfish b, which her husband stay silent the whole time, and the bill threaten her to steal her baby if she don't give it up willingly. Also, police comes and say there's nothing they can do, and Oop starts doubting WIBTAH if she don't give her SIL her baby. Some of the posts here are outrageous. Whoa, SIL had a mental break. Thank FCK. The rest of the family supports Oop in this. Due to Reddit's track record of bizarro families, this could have so easily been a multi-generation plot to steal a baby. SIL doesn't sound entitled, as much as she sounds like she needs mental health help. This is why society needs to stop pushing motherhood on women and telling them that is the greatest thing they will ever accomplish. Also need to stop with, babies are the only true love, you'll never find true happiness until you pop out a kid. The pressure becomes too much to the point of breaking down like this. Wow, this is the first time I seen a family actually try to protect the mother and baby, than actually back up the unstable in-law and genuinely concern and get help. Such a typical Reddit response. Get a gun and restraining order, like that's the solution to everything. I feel bad for everyone in this situation.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. EpicAriaCast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.